Hello there. Right, I'll put my shouty voice on again because this machine doesn't record the sound as good as the machine I'm using now in photo booth in Adam's bedroom. It's been a while now since I started A Day in the Life, and I've just gone through the first video, which tells me I'm going to be telling you a lot about IT and telling you about nutrition as well. So it's going great. It really is. I'm really focused. I'm really having some great fun. I'm doing my Open University courses, and I finished my economics and finished my psychology. I've documented them, and I was looking for a new nutrition course with David. Now I haven't seen David for a couple of days. He's been away, and he did go through his Google on the Open University and look for some nutrition course. And I believe he found a course, the Science of Nutrition, which goes into chemistry and biology. So I need to find out from David where he found out, because I looked at the Open University and didn't find anything on nutrition. But I didn't look very hard because I came across a course, Coaching Others to Coach, which is in line with what I'm doing with my golf. I hope to be working with Scott Curry. Effectively, I'm an assistant golf professional. I was a very good golfer. I had a purple patch one week. I played on a Tuesday and knocked it around in 300 par. Went away to Holden Golf Club to play with old friends and knocked it around in 300 par there. Came back and played my old friend Dennis Hand. Dennis Hand has won a Captain's Day about 4 times. We won the Christmas, the Winter League, Bradbury, Bramwell and Hand, about 4 or 5 times. We were very good golfers, but our handicap was too high. I used to play off about 7, David used to play off about 11, Dennis used to play off about 9. But in one week, I played Dennis on the Wednesday, and I beat him, and I beat him 3-2. He said, "Do you realise what you shot today?" I said, "No, I've no idea, I've not been keeping score." He says, "Well, I'm 200 gross, and you beat me 3-2. I said, "I'm playing well at the moment. I knocked you around 100 gross on Monday, and I knocked you around 100 gross on Tuesday." And then I played in the competition on the Saturday, and I knocked it round in level par. So over 4 rounds of golf, I was about 11 shots from the par. So I wasn't a bad golfer. And I speak with Scott Curry a lot, who is my professional golf club role. He's my great friend. We talk about golf a lot. We talk about training and putting on training courses. And that's what I'm doing now. I was working with David. We've gone through a Tommy Armour book. It's 153 pages long. And we've done snippets into a learning database of lesson plans and session plans. And I've got a piece of paper here now, which I've decided to break that 53 pages down into putting, chipping, pitching, bunker, stance, then 9-iron work, 8-iron work, 7-iron work, 6-iron work, 5-iron work, rescue wood and 3-iron. That's 11. That's call it the big 3. The big 3. That's lesson 11. And lesson 12, driver. Now I'll do some narratives. I'll do some transcripts, and I'll go through what my belief is and how to hit the golf ball. And I'll do narratives on each one of those. And I have a website called the Golf Hub, which is taking lots of videos from the World Wide Web, and I've broken them down into those categories so you can actually see them. So I'll be teaching online, discussing golf, not showing. I won't be videoing myself, and I won't be on the course. I'll just be here talking about golf. And it starts with a grip. There's the grip. Hands together, right? Tie the fingers together. That V should go to the right hand shoulder on the right hand, right? The V on the left hand should go to the left hand shoulder, and the hands should be neutral. have an overlapping grip on a baseball grip, but not recommended. Not recommended. You have to tie the hands together with an overlapping grip or an interlocking grip. Right, and the pressure comes in the fingers of the left hand, not across the palm. Where are we? Not across the palm. Can't do this. Should be in the fingers. Most important, first lesson of golf. There you go, first lesson of golf. Focus on the grip. Focus on the grip. And setting the club face square and bringing the club face into a square and do it in your carpet. Buy yourself a club. Buy yourself a pitching wedge so you can go down to Bruntwood Park pitch and putt, or your local pitch and putt. Buy yourself a pitching wedge and learn to chip. Learn to chip in your garden into a bucket, and just take the club back and gently forward, putting the club square, hitting it square, knocking it forward into a bucket. Get yourself some air flight balls from your local professional, and hit air flights in your garden. And get yourself started by training yourself to well, not a pitching wedge. The club that I would buy is a gap wedge. So you want to talk to your golf professional about a gap wedge, because when you're going to invest in golf clubs, you'll buy a set of golf clubs. It'll have a sand wedge, it'll have a pitching wedge, it'll have a 9-iron, 8, 7, 6, 5. They only go to 5 now. Well, they used to go to 3, and I love long iron, so I have 4, 3, 2, and 1 iron in my bag. Well, now they go to 5, and you get a rescue wood, and that's what American Golf are selling. But I would recommend that you buy second-hand clubs to start off with anyway, and buy a set sand wedge to 3-iron. Well, to get yourself started before you go to that sort of investment, that could cost you as little as £60, by the way. It's not a lot of money for a second-hand golf club. You can get them off eBay. You certainly get them for £100. And American Golf is a great place to go, so they have them there. And if you can, get a set of Ping. Ping, they hold the head shape. Probably golf clubs. If you're like me and you hit the ball very, very hard and a long way, you can knock your lofts and your lines off. Now I had a set of clubs made for me. Made for my height, because I'm a big lad. I'm 6'3". I got some toe preferred made to measure clubs, and it was a soft head, and I used to knock the loft off the head. I was forever taking it back. The 5-iron would turn into like a 7-iron, and eventually the 5-iron broke when I did not know back. So I went for a harder set of clubs. I went to Ping, and Ping have been fantastic. I've had them reshafted a number of times now, and they're an old classic head, and they sit beautifully. It's an old head, and I've got 3 sets. I've got a left-handed set, because I played left-handed as well as right-handed, and I've got a standard set for when I play with friends. I've got a set of standard things. Same head as me K2s, I think they are. And I've got my set, which is 1.5 inches longer than standard, with a D4 swing weight, 1 degree upright. So that's my specification. But I'm going to be teaching golf on the World Wide Web. I'm going to dedicate some time to doing that, and I'm going to be having fun. So where was that? Oh yes, well, my introduction to a day in the life. I said I was going to get into nutrition. Well, I'm teaching IT now, and I'm going to do a course on spreadsheets for youngsters as young as 6 years of age. I'm going to get dads to teach youngsters and set them up with a chart of accounts to save up for a bike, and save up for books and save up for the university for when they're 21, the 21-year-old party. So I'll set them up with spreadsheets with a piggy bank, where they've got money in a piggy bank, and then you can move that into a current account and get them to set up a savings account, an ISA, so they can transfer money once a year or twice a year or whenever into an ISA, and get parents to set up kiddies with the financial accounts to save. And that's what I did when I was a young man. I had all sorts of jobs, and I was working from about the age of 8, doing gardening and doing jobs for people and earning, doing little jobs. And I earned quite a little bit of money. The only thing is, my dad told me not to go to university. So I packed in my schooling before the final years of my exams. So I should have sailed through my maths, but I didn't do the second year of applied mathematics. So I didn't do any applied mathematics. I took time off. I was working. I got jobs. I was working for people. So I passed my physics, but I failed my maths, which was really sad because maths was my favourite subject. I was really good at maths. So I'll go back to do some statistical maths and maths for engineering. I've got a lovely book. I'm going to show you here. I've got 2 books. I've got a statistics book, and I've got an engineering mathematics book, and I'll be going through that at some time, doing spreadsheets. So I want to set up with young David, whose son is now 2.5 years of age, get David to set up a piggy bank for him, and get him to save some money for Christmas, for his Christmas present, for his birthday present, and get him used to saving, and get the little lad, he's only 2.5, get him doing jobs for his mum, do some polishing of the furniture, or something like that. Help out with drying the pots. But you're going to say he's only young, and I can't remember what people can do when they're 2.5 years of age, but he was shopping with David the other day. They went shopping and he bought some apples. And David was telling me a lovely story, how he went and bought these apples, and the child chose them, and he took them home, and he was very pleased with himself, David, that he'd gone through a transaction at the supermarket with his son. You can tell he loves his son, you can tell he's going to be a doting father. So I'm doing this website called the ABC book, which is A for apple, B for ball, golf ball of course, C for cat, tiger of course, Tiger Woods, D for dog, my dog, old dog Prince. So I'll do that A to Z with Kitty's photographs for Kitty, and writing the text, A for apple, so get him to spell, and I'll do some recordings. I'll do A's for apple. A is for apple. A, P, P, L, E. Apple. A, P, P, L, E. A is for apple. A, P, P, L, E. And I'll go through the whole alphabet. Well then, what I'll do is I'll make it sophisticated. I'll do links to the websites that I've done, my Open University training for economics. E is for egg, but E is also for economics. And I'll do a link in for my Study Buddies learning platform. I've got this initiative called My Study Buddies, where people, when they study, do their notes on the using ProtoPage. This is all about ProtoPage. And like I said, I did my economics and I did my psychology and social politics. Didn't get so much out of all that. Didn't do any research outside the Open University. Just did the book, and all I learned was about group initiatives and the dynamics of the psychology of the group. But I didn't pick up a great deal from that, so I'm going to have to go through it again and do my revision notes, and then do some research to see what's on the on YouTube and expand that website. But there's no rush to do that. It's something I'll go through in a month's time, 6 months' time. I'll look at more psychology. I've got a book, Organisation. Just pull it out here. 5 in a second. I've got a big pile of books here. Hogan, 5 lessons. A must for every golfer. Tom Watson, getting up and down. You can read it in the evening. All pictures. All pictures. A must for every golfer. Work and organisational psychology. Right, I'll go through this and expand my psychology website. In search of excellence, my company's in here. I was trained as a manager at Ingersoll Rand, and Ingersoll Rand was one of the excellent companies. So I'm an excellent manager, trained up, company psychologist Tom Shaw taught me all about that in business and all about management. And Ingersoll Rand features in here. It's a book that I've been trying to read for a long time. Got a little extracts in it, interesting stuff that I've seen. But I really should sit down and read that from cover to cover, because it does feature the company that I was employed. So that's some light reading. I've got lots of light reading. But I'm going to do nutrition now. I'm going to start nutrition. Say David's looked at the science of nutrition, and I'm going to set up some spreadsheets. Now I want to set up a relational database with David's son. I want to set up a database of recipes. So I'll have a recipe and ingredients in one spreadsheet. Then I want another spreadsheet of ingredients to nutrients. So I need to look at tins labelling to see what's on tins labelling, to see what information you can harvest off tins and off packaging. So I've got two spreadsheets that I'll link together. So when I pull up my recipe, I can pull back the nutrients from the nutrients, and that'll teach young David how to do a relational database, relational spreadsheets. I could put it all in one spreadsheet, and I'll do that initially. I'll do a spreadsheet with multiple sheets, and I'll do vertical lookups from one sheet to the next. But then I'll do vertical lookups across multiple spreadsheets, because that's something that I've done before, and it's not easy to find out, but it is achievable. And I had spreadsheets set up where I worked that actually did that, but I can't remember the code, and it's something that I need to do. So for the ECDL. So I'm going to put that under E for egg, under the ABC, ECDL, and we'll do some ECDL training for simple spreadsheets for a child of 6 years of age, and set up his savings accounts, and try and get David to be encouraged to start some saving, some ISA for his child. Now, I took up life insurance when I was about 16. I did a policy. I was only putting £4 in a month. It wasn't a great deal to pay for the funeral when I died. I started it when I was about 16, and it's matured now, and it's worth £37,000. So I might draw that now and have some fun with it, rather than, it's there for my daughter when I die. She will have a good funeral. We'll have a big bash when I die. Don't you worry about that. There's plenty of money in the pot for caviar and champagne. Well, I'm going to have a real ding dong when I go out for a big party. So there you go. I've worked all my life to have a good funeral. Unfortunately now I'm 64 years of age. I should be working and I'm not working, so I'm focused on doing education and training and doing my day in the life, and the ABC book and the Digital Champions website for teaching IT, and writing Google forms to do relational databases. Now I've got a problem in that I can't get my machines to work at the infrastructure that I want to do. I want to do SQL Server and I want to do MVC and C#. Well, I can't get to work and I can't get close enough to Richard to set my machine up to do it. I've got the qualification in C programming, and so I write JavaScript when I want to do anything, because I know with the JavaScript environment I can do that. So I'll be teaching young David's son JavaScript when he gets a little bit older. I'll do the narratives now of signatures, which is switch case. I'll teach him about switch case and give him a taster of a program that I've already done, and explain to him how complex programs can be and how switch case helps you. Nested ifs, I'll tell him about nested ifs as well, and choice. And I'll teach him about go-to-less programs, how to write programs which you go to by performing classes. And I'll teach you about object-oriented programming with properties and methods. So I know all the theory, and I've got a qualification in C programming. Plus the language I used to use, which was Uni 2000 and Unipay formula. It was all formula. It was its own language. It was a specialist product, and it led itself to a low-level language, very close to machine code. So I know how to do low-level languages. And then I've got my Cobalt that I'll do a session in Cobalt on how to put Cobalt together, because I was a Jackson programmer who did Jackson programming, which was go-to-less, which lends itself to OOP programming in C and C#. C#'s close to Java, by the way. So I'm going to be busy doing nutrition. I'll do that now. I'll go and get some tins out and look at the design for the database, and then I'll set up a page on nutrition somewhere to design the Google Forms, so I can input my recipes and I can input my nutrients. So I've got a bit of research to do today. I don't know if I can actually get down to the level of nutrients. There's in food. I'll have to look at food labelling, and I certainly know they give the level of salt on there, and the level of protein, and well, I'll have to see. I've never really looked at it, and it's only really clear for me. Right, this video was only going to be a couple of seconds. I seem to have gone on because I've got a lot going on. I'm looking at my other books here. The Manager's Handbook. Right, that's going to be a big project. I'm going to invest a lot of time on doing the Manager's Handbook for my daughter Emma, because it's great. It's a great book. Making delegation work. How important is delegation? How important is bringing on people and telling them how to develop themselves? Handling trouble. Well, you get trouble at work. You get people who are competitive and won't work for you, have got their own interests. Coping with the crisis. Pausing a crisis at the moment. When I'm talking about classes, assigning classes of work. When you got a problem coming up, you can assign a class to it. If you haven't got a budget to do it in IT, then you can find a way. You can assign a training class to it. If someone's got a problem and they need your help, and they haven't got a budget, then you can help them out. If you assign only 80% of your work out as productive chargeable work, and 20% as research and development and training, and encourage your staff, encourage your employees to work for you, and give them work that they can cherry pick, unimportant work for people who've got no budget, it gets work done. It helps the business. It helps the little man who needs an extra transaction that his boss has got no budget to do. He can't justify it. You can actually do it under training. You can bring one of your lads on who's not done something in a Cobalt Kicks environment, doing an online transaction, and give them half a day to go through a training course, and then show them the source for an existing program and get them to clone it. But as they're cloning it, do one of your C tasks, which is an unimportant task that there's no budget for. So you can bring on people that way and you get work done. And then there's synergy. I want to talk to you. Desperate to talk to you about synergy. When you research across your business of what people want, and you can group it into pieces of work, where one piece of work, once it's done for one customer, you can clone it to do another piece of work for another customer, where the same process is exactly the same. An example of that is a bill of material. A bill of material to build a car, which is a car, a bonnet, wings, doors, seats, steering wheel, right? It's the same as the bill of material for a company structure. The company at the top level, cost centres at a lower level, workstations at a lower level, down to the individual. So when you book it on the payroll, when someone's doing some work, he's running a company car. You can put its pay element as mileage, pay mileage, and then work it up to a cost centre associated with that mileage, up your company structure, and you can apply to your general ledger then the mileage at that cost centre level, and you can do an interface directly from your payroll into your nominal ledger if you're that way inclined. Now, I mentioned before I was at Sodexo, and when I put a payroll change through for a new pay element, it would take me a day to develop and do all the screens and all the transactions and all the reports. It won't take me any time at all using Unipay, which had its own screen painter. I could knock up history screens and list screens and input screens and across the various securities of levels in the organisation and the security profiles, and I could do it all in a day. But at Sodexo, the nominal ledger was a nightmare. It used to take the lads about 3 weeks to change and test, and they never give me authorisation to change it because it was worked. There was no justification in actually changing it. They weren't bothered. They had people waiting around and not doing work for weeks on end, trying to get priority work and stuff through, causing bottlenecks in the workflow. They weren't bothered with that. They were just happy as long as you kept the customer happy, as long as you kept the client happy and you were working on it. If it took 3 weeks, it took 3 weeks. So there was always a bottleneck at Sodexo trying to get stuff implemented, try and get it through assurance testing, because of the way they used to work and not using batch systems. So I always had plenty of time. I always had plenty of fat to research, and I was playing around with VBA. Anyway, I'm going to stop this now because my priority today is to start a spreadsheet on my machine, a couple of spreadsheets for nutrition, right? And then we'll try and look at what I can do in VBA, I messed around with VBA, not very good at it, not really give it any thought to what I need to do. That's the problem. Never really been given a task which needs VBA. Now Paul is working with Power BI at the moment and where he's working, and I need to speak to Paul more often. We need to share ideas. So I need to get an example from his work where he can be using VBA, and I need to do a course along those lines. I worked at the cooperative college, and they did their learning environment and their databases with spreadsheets, and I think there was a bit of VBA in that. I can't recall. I think there was a bit of VBA. So I haven't got a book on VBA. I'm going to go to a second-hand bookstore and see if I can get a second-hand book on VBA. I'm not spending any money on it because, like I say, I don't want to be a programmer now, and I just need to show somebody how to get into it, and hopefully I'll get some students on board that are about 12 years of age that want to do some programming, and get them introduced to VBA. But I need to work on it. Talk to Paul about meaningful examples of what we need to do. So I'll need to speak to Richard as well to see if he's done any VBA. But I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything where we want to do it. Pivot table processing, possibly. I don't really know. Never been asked, you see. Never been asked to do it. Never been tasked to do it. So I've never had to apply myself. I don't know if this is a starting point for people to learn VB, or to get them to just use basic, do basic initially. Get them to learn arrays, dimensional arrays, and we wrote Monopoly when we were kids. We did Monopoly back in the 1970s on the Commodore PET. So my thoughts are, I'll put them in the hands of Paul and decide what to teach them and give them tasks. And I'll see if writing Monopoly in BASIC is the way to go, or to get them to do Visual Basic. I'll get them to do MVC and try and write Monopoly using MVC. Early days. Early days. I need Paul to come on board, really. Onboard Promotions, BSG Elite Academy. I need help. I really need a programmer who can do some work for me, so we can develop stuff for the kids to do. So until I got a programmer on board, I'm really snookered of where I want to go. I'd love to start with 16-year-olds really and work back from there, because 16-year-olds you could task them to do university work, and I'll point them towards my Digital Champions website and get them interested in NoSQL, get them interested in a Raspberry Pi if they want to spend some money and have some fun. Knock together a couple of Raspberry Pis into a supercomputer and get them to do a low-level code, get them to look at Ruby and look at Rails on a Raspberry Pi. If they're wanting to be computer scientists, that's what they should be doing. But I can teach them the systems analyst side, structured system analyst design methods. Right, we'll be going through that. So I've got lots on. got lots on. Can't really afford to work when I've got so much to do at home. But I've got to think about getting a little job. And it's now the new year. I've got another couple of months before I need to think about getting myself a little job. I'm focused on this at the moment. But I don't need to. I might look at my finances and decide that retirement is what I'm doing, because I'm having so much fun. This might be what I want to do, and admit to the fact that I am retired and enjoy it. Enjoy communicating with you. So it's the ABC book today for me, and I'm going to stop this now. I'm going to have some lunch. I'm going to do myself a tuna salad, or I'll do myself tuna pasta. I think I'll have tuna pasta for lunch. Yes, I'll do that, and then I can look at the nutrition for tuna pasta, because tuna pasta is one of Adam's favourite meals. So I can do some work this afternoon on nutrition for tuna pasta. So it all ties in together, doing recipes for the Blue Flamingos project. Blue Flamingos is a community project working with Wythenshawe Good Foods and food banks for nutrition. So I need to focus on nutrition. I know I need to do that. And that'll give me my spreadsheets to teach young David. I really need to see to David, see how much time he wants to spend on IT with his son when he's about 6 years of age. But you could start him off now with a laptop, with this ABC book that I'm writing for him, so you can get him used to that, with an ABC book, get him used to using, or even a tablet, or even a mobile phone. You know, kids, that's what they do nowadays. Kids play with applications on mobile phones, and parents allow them to do it. Now, I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know. I had a girlfriend, right? Tried to persuade her to get books into the house. She wouldn't spend any money on books. Was quite happy having the grandson play with the mobile phone. And isn't he clever, she used to say, he's doing things on a mobile phone. Well, I don't know if it is. I don't know if it's the right thing to do. See, I'm thinking heavily about this now. I'm thinking heavily about at what age should you start introducing a child to technology? Am I doing the right thing introducing an ABC book, A for apple, B for banana, C for cat, onto a boy of 2.5 years of age? Is it the right thing to do? I don't know. Certainly interesting for me to do. It's fun doing it. You know, there's no effort in doing it using Protopage. I'm a great fan of Protopage, and it's a great way of getting my stuff out. What I'll do is I'll get some business cards printed with the ABC book on, and with my company name, Red Octopus Business Services Limited, and get that and do some posting around some letterbox and try and get some business. Trying to see if there's anybody who wants some applications built, see if you can get some work in and advertise myself rather than just working for fun. Do some IT. But that depends on getting a programmer. And my lads, Richard and Paul, they have lifestyles, you see, and they work at it during the day and they don't want to be doing it of an evening. So I've got to decide whether I employ a programmer, get the work in first. I can do the analysis, I can do the prototyping, I can do the specifications, I can do everything, but write the actual final application. I can do the prototyping using Google Forms, and I can make sure that everything's going to be within the requirement specification, so there's very little risk of an overrun in the build. And then I can cost it out and subcontract it out to India. And I get loads of interest from India. People wanted to do work with me. And I think it's about time to bite on the bullet to see if I can find a customer. I start doing a bill for a customer and then look to outsourcing to India. But I want to outsource internally to Paul and Richard. But we have communications issues there. I don't think they're fully switched on with how much we could actually be earning by doing packaged products. So this is a long video now. This is 40 minutes. Now this is to prove that I've got this environment set up now so I can do a video of more than 15 minutes long. This is a test, but really, of how much I can rattle on about stuff without scripting it. Now in future, what I'm going to have to do, I'm going to have to do transcripts of what I'm going to have to present. So I'm structured and be a little bit more professional about it. There was a man called Zay Frank, which he did great work. He did so much fun stuff. It was unbelievable, and he had a real style to him. He was a real actor, and I used to enjoy watching Zay Frank videos, and I think they're still about. I'll have to dig them out and do a link on the ABC book to Z Frank. In fact, I'll do Z for Z Frank, and let's see if I can find him on the web. I did have lots of links to him, but he stopped doing his stuff after a while, and I think he took a lot of his stuff down. So it's something I need to dig out. Z for Z Frank, and I think I'll do that now, actually, before I have lunch. I'll do a search for Z Frank on YouTube to see if he's got anything on YouTube, and if he has, I'll set up Z. Right, so that's a long one. That's basically saying that Paul's disaster recovery system is not going well. It's going well from my side, my point of view, in they've got a system specified, ready for him to code. It's going not so well from his point of view, in that he's not communicating with me where he is and what he's doing. So I need to get an update from him to see if he wants to be doing some bespoke development for his company, and if so, if he wants my help in doing that with him. I hope he says yes, because that'll give me focus to do some real IT development and get something under my wing. Right, 45 minutes. I'm going to stop there now. Have a nice day, everybody. You keep going. You get used to Proto Page. Sign up with your Proto Page now, and sign up for my study buddies. And start a subject that you want on an Open University Open Learn, and look at my Economics 2020 to see what I did there, and how I structured that with content and index and Harvard and questions, and do the same. Pick yourself an Open University course, a small one, 8 hours, and document it in Proto Page and see how you go on. See how great fun it is. And stop watching TV, stop watching EastEnders. Right. Goodbye, everybody.